All right, everybody. We are back again for another episode where we're going to be breaking down a business owner's YouTube channel and see if we can find some ways that he can get more leads, sales, and even views from his YouTube channel. So the guy that we're going to be looking at today goes by Business Coach Mastery, but his name is actually BJ O'Neill. So when I like to start these, one of the things I always look at is first, we're going to look at the channel overall. Does it very clearly communicate what problem we're solving and then who this channel is actually for? Then from there, we're going to break down the actual packaging. How do we make titles and thumbnails that are very clickable so that we are getting in front of the right people? From there, we'll break down his funnel, make sure that it is a seamless process going from viewer all the way to wanting to work with him. And then finally, we will put kind of a bow on it and say, okay, here's the recap. Here are all the things that we could do. Oftentimes are very small tweaks, but can make a huge difference to the amount of people that find your channel and then end up watching your videos and ultimately working with you. So let's jump in here on the channel itself. So like I said, it's called Business Coach Mastery. So I think even the name itself is already calling out the target audience. And then one of the best places that you can look at and find who the channel is for and what problem it's solving is looking at the header. Right now, he's got business coaching success for Christian business professionals. So actually pretty good there, where we're talking specifically to Christian business professionals, and then we're also saying business coaching success. Now, I will say that we can probably make this problem that we're solving or the desired outcome that we're trying to get a little bit stronger, but as a starting point, I think this is really good. So from the header, I think we're on track there with a few tweaks, but then I like to look at the videos because a lot of people aren't going to watch your video, then go back to your profile and then understand what the channel is about. But from the videos themselves, is it very clear who we're talking to? So let's look at a couple of these here. 3 reasons why imperfect action beats perfect planning, businesscoachmastery.com. Also, as a side note, you definitely don't have to, and I probably also encourage you not to put your name or your website in the title. It just doesn't feel native to YouTube. So we want to make sure it feels contextualized to the YouTube platform so it feels like it fits on there. And then we've got taking imperfect action, how coaches justify 24K fees, and then we've got 3 reasons AI won't replace business coaches, the AI gold rush trap for coaches. So I think in a handful of these, we're calling out the business coaches and we're also talking about different problems that they may have. Now, I will say that there's a handful of these that from a clickability perspective, we always want to answer the question, what's in it for them? So if someone finds us on YouTube and they don't know who we are yet, we want to give them a strong enough reason to click on our video. And for a lot of people, just because it feels very natural to, hey, I have a specific topic, I'm going to make a video about it. Let's just do that. So we've got like taking imperfect action. And inside, I mean, it's very helpful in terms of, I think when you do take imperfect action rather than waiting around and trying to have the perfect plan, like a lot of great things can happen. But if someone doesn't know who BJ is yet and they see taking imperfect action, there's basically no reason for them to click on that video. There's no promise of what's going to happen if I do watch this video, or there's no promise of what problem am I going to solve. And then the second question that people are also wondering is, why should I listen to you? So not only do we want to answer what's in it for me, or what's in it for them rather, we also want to show why they can trust us. So going over to his LinkedIn, let's see if we can find some of the credibility on here. So he says, I give seasoned Christian professionals a done-for-you 6-figure business coaching practice so you can live life on your terms. Now, one cool thing is he is a certified speaker and trainer with the John Maxwell team. And I think he was one of like the founding members of one of those teams, which is really interesting. And then also, if you go down to his experience, he's been running the business that he's at for the last 6 years. He was a founding partner of the John Maxwell team, gives him a lot of credibility there. He's been doing that for 14 years, and then he's done various things besides that. So basically what we want to do is figure out what kind of results that you've helped clients get or what results you've gotten for yourself, and then you can use those as credibility so you're answering the question, why should someone listen to you? So that's from the ideas and titles perspective. But I think the other thing that we could definitely improve on the channel is just looking at thumbnails. Now, just looking at these, I know basically exactly how these were made. So in the last probably month and a half, ChatGPT has come out with a new image generation model, and it's actually pretty good for making thumbnails. But the problem is, If you just use ChatGPT and you don't know how to prompt it and how to use references so you can make a really good looking thumbnail, it very much looks like a ChatGPT thumbnail. And right now, that's not a huge problem. But I am seeing very, very quickly is the more people make thumbnails like this, or I see just in my day-to-day life, people using ChatGPT to make billboards and graphic design and all these different things, it's got a very clear look, and I think it's quickly becoming kind of the AI slop of, or the stock footage of graphic design and thumbnails specifically. So I think the more people use this, it's going to be a big turnoff if people can tell that you use ChatGPT. Now, there is a way to not make it where it looks like a ChatGPT thumbnail, because I've got a Canva file where I was working on some thumbnails, and if I go over here, I'll show you a couple of thumbnails that I had worked on, and these were technically made in ChatGPT, but I would argue they don't look like ChatGPT thumbnails because there's a couple key things that are kind of a dead giveaway if you are making thumbnails in ChatGPT normally. So you see like the paintbrush border around there. Also, oftentimes they'll use that for text where it's kind of the paintbrush. And then there's also a bunch of different random small icons. You got the system, the process, the value, a bunch of random icons just dispersed throughout. A lot of times there's going to be a glow around you or a highlight, and that looks very much like AI. And I think those elements, if someone sees them, they're like, okay, this is a ChatGPT thumbnail. But as you'll see here, it has none of those because my workflow is I don't just throw an image of me into ChatGPT and say, hey, please make a thumbnail for a video called this. Basically, what I do is I have a giant swipe file of different thumbnails that are high performing. And then from there, what I do is I actually take one of those thumbnails, throw it into ChatGPT and say, hey, here's what a good thumbnail looks like for a video like this. I want to use a similar style. And then I'll just tell it how to change it. So I'll take that as the base and then I'll make tweaks to it from the actual composition to what the thumbnail text is. Obviously, we'll put whoever actually is in the video in the thumbnail. But from there, you can still use ChatGPT and get these thumbnails done, in 2 to 5 minutes, but it doesn't look like a ChatGPT thumbnail. So I think that is huge. And then one more on the packaging side is I see in a handful of these, like this one and this one, you have the very YouTuber-y face. And YouTube in like 2016, this was a very popular thing. And I think the over-the-top expressions were leading to more clicks because like, oh, like this is a crazy video. Look at this guy's face. It's a crazy face. But two problems with that. One, even Mr. Beast himself, kind of the king of the YouTuber face, has now gone to a more subtle expression in his videos. But then also, Mr. Beast is appealing to kind of 16 on the high end as far as age, and then, 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and even below. Those are the kind of people that are watching his videos. And oftentimes, that's the kind of audience that you're going to attract with the very over-the-top faces. So that would be if you are trying to reach people that, are 16 to 18, that would help. But I'm assuming most of BJ's people that he's trying to work with, he's not trying to work with people that are 16 or 18 in most cases. So the more subtle or just like the cleaner looking headshots like these, I think that works a lot better. But if we can answer the question, why should I listen to you by showing some credibility? And then in the titles and thumbnails specifically, highlight a specific problem that we're solving, or we're going to highlight a specific desired outcome that we're helping them get. I think that will make it so much more clickable. Now, on the funnel side, I think there's some things that we can do here as well. And one easy one that I always tell people is you want to put your call to action, the link to your call to action is the very first line in your description. Because when someone clicks on your video, you can see here, if I'm just scrolling through here, I don't see a clickable link. There's no pinned comment. And then also, if I do want to find it, you have to hit more, scroll down, and then we have his website here. But unfortunately, most people aren't going to actually do that because it's going to look like this, where we're going to hit show less. Most people aren't going to see that. So one easy fix to that is just put it as the first line of your description. Also, after you post your video, make a pinned comment, and then you can have the same call to action there. And I think that's going to increase your clicks a whole lot with a very, very small fix. And then in the terms of the description here, I always recommend giving someone one specific call to action rather than having a bunch of different links. Because we've got recommended playlist here, we've got links to all his socials, we've got his website, we've got subscribing, and then we've got all these different things here. So oftentimes, because there's like 50 things that people can click, they're like, okay, I'm just not going to click any of them. So what we can do instead is for the descriptions themselves, go ahead and just put your main call to action link that you're trying to get them to click as the first line of description and that pinned comment. Also, one more place for that before we jump into the website is you also want to use this, in which you're actually doing a very good job of it, is putting it as the first link in your channel profile, because then this is going to be the one that gets the most clicks. But then you can also see, okay, we've got his Facebook, we've got his LinkedIn, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. But let's go to his website, because I think doing this, we can dial in some things here as well. I think it's a very good start, honestly, because we've got, now I will say that this one, I think it's going specifically to his kind of book a call page. And the other one was just a link to his website overall, which has a lot of the same information, but I personally like this one a lot cleaner because this one, after the little pop-up, there's no VSL to explain kind of who he is, what he does, that kind of thing. The layout doesn't feel as good. So I'm assuming this is probably more of an updated one. So breaking it down here, reading the headline, we have established a six-figure business coaching practice as a Christian professional man without starting from scratch. So talking about building a six-figure business through coaching specifically for Christian men. So I think that's great. We also have a VSL here, which just is like a 24-minute training, assuming kind of teaching about what he does or big picture how he helps people, which is great. And then going down here is you can have scheduled conversation, and then this will take you to the booking page. Now, I don't know how many calls you're getting on like a typical week or a typical month, but I did notice when I was going in here, so if I want to book, I can select it. There is no kind of application questions. So they just put their first name, last name, phone number, email in, any additional information that they want, and then they can schedule the meeting. But the more people that you have going to this page, the more you're going to have people that are unqualified to work with you actually book. And that's going to take up a lot of your time and effort for not a whole lot of payoff. So what a lot of people do is instead of having where they can book directly on your calendar here, is they will actually have like a type form or a jot form embedded on there where it says, hey, fill this out to apply to work with me. And it answers some different questions like, okay, getting the basic information of, where are they from? What's their name? What's their email, phone number? But then also saying, like, what profession are you currently in? Because that's kind of a way to qualify them without flat out asking them how much they make per month. But then also saying, okay, in a range, like what is your typical monthly income? Also, what is your goal monthly income? You see, okay, maybe they're at $10,000 a month already, but they're wanting to scale to $100,000 a month. So it will give you a lot of information that, and then if they answer the questions wrong, you can redirect them either to a downsell where maybe it's like a do-it-yourself thing, or just redirect them to your email list or just to get more of your free content. And that makes it where the people that do book with you, you have more information about them so you can qualify them. And those qualified people are going to be the ones that you end up taking calls with. So I think that's a pretty easy fix. But overall, for the landing page itself, I think the one thing it is missing is, and maybe you do it in the VSL here, but having some social proof, having some testimonials or case studies of like people that you've worked with, or just sharing your own results, I think that is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of getting people to trust you so that they do want to book a call with you. But overall, I think this is great. And going back to the YouTube channel, those are the big things that I would focus on. So really, the packaging is a huge thing. Titles and thumbnails, making sure the ideas that we're picking are things that people are interested in. Answering the question, what's in it for them? Why should I listen to you? Then making it as easy as possible for people to go from the videos to actually go to the website to book a call with us, and then adding some of that social proof and some of the results in there with us. Okay, cool. So if you guys have any questions on this, need some clarity, feel free to leave a comment there. Also, if you're a business owner and you want me to do this for your own channel, feel free to leave a comment. I'll be happy to do that. But if not, I will see you guys in the next one.